Hey boyos, daily check-in with John Vee. I think the second time today. It is April 20th, 2026. The old 420, right? No weed for me though. I might drink today. I might get a little in the tank before the day's over, right? I want to go to sleep at an acceptable time, something like, I don't know, 2 a.m. You can see in the back there, the virtual background's not covering up the old cot I got there. That's fine though, because for some reason, the other virtual background I use for the actual Zoom meetings does work and does cover up that bullshit. So this is VCam, and I think in my video it actually says in the bottom center it says VCam AI right about there. Yeah. So anyway, I'm just so amped about this new job, going through training, that I just felt I had to make another video and just rave about potential employment or income I could be getting. Um, I had a meeting with the class today, and Abigail was there, the regional manager, and she didn't answer questions when she was done speaking her spiel. She ended the meeting. There was no option to ask questions. A lot of it was going over the success of the company, and it's got me amped going over top performers, how much they made, and how much they made last month, last year, top performers, and they've had record breaking success this past quarter. So she did say, like, she hasn't known anybody with the company who did not apply themselves and pay attention to coaching and put in the hours, actually put forth an effort, and not have great success with the company. So that could be me, right? I could be making a lot of money. And she's like, if you actually apply yourself, you can actually make plans, buy a house. You can buy a house. You can buy everything you want, she said. And as a regional manager, she's probably talking a lot of shit because she's probably taking home, 400K a year as a regional manager with bonus. But it's true because, I can potentially see myself as being a top performer of the company, and this is it. This is the thing that's going to turn my life around, I think. And if it doesn't work out, if I can't pass the exams, there's always other companies to work for. And why would their exams be any different? Well, I could go for something that um, doesn't have as much potential income for commission, right? I could go for something a little easier maybe and still make a very substantial living, probably a couple $100,000 a year, right? I'm getting way ahead of myself because I'm a bottom dweller. I'm on disability. I make almost nothing for money, and I've never had a job like this that potentially could pay this much, right? The job I did have in sales, selling satellite radio, I was top performer for the company, the whole company, for all agents who did the same role as me. I was top performer in 3 months. Let that sink in. I was top performer. I was making more than pretty much every other sales agent at that company doing the same role as me. Let that sink in. So you see, I do have a future as a salesman. Let that sink in. So I'm not just talking shit. I'm not just making up stories, right? The potential is there. I could be making a hell of a lot of money as long as I apply myself, willing to put in the hours and pay attention to coaching and actually put forth an effort. You know, this could be potentially life changing, right? Potentially life changing. And she actually, it's funny when you see these synchronicities in life, where you're on the right path, right? You know that you're on the right path. And she actually used the analogy of, you could work at McDonald's flipping burgers and you have no future there. You have no future, she's like. You know, you're not thinking about bettering yourself, right? And like I had said before, I think on the misc I was saying, like, I don't want to work some shit job like McDonald's flipping burgers and have my dream be in 5 years to be promoted to shift manager and get a 50 cent raise with what comes with being shift manager. I don't want that for myself. I deserve so much better. And rather than work some shit minimum wage job, I'd rather just sit on government assistance and just pay the bills and be able to sit around, do whatever I want with my life, like play games and just relax, smoke cigarettes, right? Sleep in every day. I'd rather do that than work some job like McDonald's. Still hardly pay the bills, be able to afford weed and alcohol and maybe a couple other luxuries, and that's it. And have my life centrally revolved around work where I have no spare time to do anything. So, right. But this, I'm willing to put in 40 hours a week at a job like this if the potential is there to make a lot of money. And she said most agents are making 60 to 80,000 a year their first year. 60 to 80,000 a year their first year. Let that sink in. And that's a huge step up from making like 20,000 a year working at McDonald's or Walmart, some shit job. So, there's a special type of person I have a problem with. And that person is really fat, really ugly, and have had the same job since they were 16 years old. And they're my age. And they don't know what their skills are. They don't know what they're good at because they've done the same thing for 25 years, you know? And they've stuck with that employment because it's easy, right? They work at a grocery store. They moved up to manager and a 50-cent raise that came with it. And they think they're something special because they have the title of manager, and nobody cares if you're a manager. You're still a bottom dweller. You're still scraping the bottom, just barely making the ends meet, barely paying the bills, right? And rather than be a bottom dweller like that, that's devoting most of my life to work, I'd rather be a bottom dweller that doesn't work at all and can actually do things that I want to do, like play computer games, sit around and smoke, drink alcohol, have time to actually enjoy life rather than just work all of it and still have no time to enjoy anything and not have money to do anything I want to do. Fuck that. So, anyway, a bit of a ramble. Um, as you can see, I'm still wearing my work attire. I asked my sister's boyfriend if he had a work shirt I could borrow, like business casual, and he's like, "Yeah, I do." And he gave me this one. It's a double XL, and he says it's a small double XL, so it fits okay. It's a little baggy, but it served the purpose of attending the work call, right? So, anyway, I will not borrow you guys any longer. I just wanted to make a video because I'm so excited. And that's it. I'll see you guys online.